And is Anthony Zuckra available? From CS Alabama Investments. We're looking for Anthony Zuckra. Anthony Zuckra, not in the foyer back there?
No, that's Med Shop. That's Med Shop.
Well, I tell you what, since y'all, is Med Shop ready to go?
Yep.
If you want to go, come on and we'll get y'all in here and we'll give you that much time to kill with questions if you so choose, and we'll wait on the other guy, see if they're going to show up. Justin, we're going to move on, I guess, to Med Shop Dispensary.
All right, this is
These guys are coming forward. Got a team of them.
Give us a couple minutes.
This is
Not all going to be talking.
All right. So Justin A'Day will give us some information pertaining to your application.
This is applicant number 1705, Med Shop Dispensary LLC. You have their complete application, applicant summary. You also have in your materials the pass-fail show cause response that was submitted by the applicant, as well as a brief in support of the application that was submitted by the applicant.
Thank you, Justin. Okay, I guess, Joe?
Yes, sir.
All right, the floor is all yours, and Ms. Peters, she will show you a lot of time here. I think y'all have asked for 20 minutes.
Yes, sir.
So help yourself to all that time, and maybe leave us a little bit for questions at the end.
The videos.
Yes. Okay.
There'll be a couple of points during this that I'll ask you to pause just so we can change speaker.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Brittany. We're good to go. Good
to go. All right. Well, good afternoon. We're Med Shop Dispensary. Thank you very much for the time to speak with us today. I want to establish one big thing. You guys have got, I think, probably the worst job in Alabama right now, just all the scrutiny that's been going on. So I want to personally thank you from my team for the opportunity to get to stand in front of you today. This is such an honor to be able to do this versus the other process that we had. I just want to introduce our team real quickly. Our CEO is Ann Macher from Birmingham, Alabama. Carl Jameson is from Tuscaloosa. As I mentioned, my name's Joe Shirley. I'm the CEO or COO, and I'm from Tuscaloosa. Joe Sokoloff from Birmingham. We got Jeff Rayburn, who's not with us today, but he's also from Birmingham. Dr. Virginia Lawley was able to make it today for us. She is our Chief Medical Officer. She's from Birmingham, Alabama. We got Ian Stewart, who came in from Missoula, Montana. He is our medical cannabis consultant. And a couple of people that couldn't make it today is Laura Deneff. She is our cannabis partner who owns 4 dispensaries in Illinois. And Barbara Moore, which is our eldest partner. She is a resident of Northport for the last 82 years. And I realize I'm the person standing between you guys and being finished today, and you probably need a big break from your presentations, and hopefully we'll just say your favorite beverage after this so you can kind of chill out a little bit. But we'll get through it quickly, and we've got a video. I just want to go ahead and start it, and then as I said, we'll pause a couple of times to be able to jump back in. These are our locations that we've targeted. We've already got signed leases on everything. The first one is in Montgomery, and it's off of Atlanta Highway. Next, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
How's that better?
Sorry about that.
I think they like.
So our next one's in Tuscaloosa on McFarland Boulevard, right in the main thoroughfare. And you fly over to Birmingham. We're right in the middle of City Center on 2nd Avenue. That way we feel like we can service the most patients with our locations. Some pictures of our group, and the main thing we wanted you to notice on here is that we're that Alabama group that you're looking for. We're pretty much all based out of Alabama, Birmingham. We brought in the experts that we needed from out of state, but other than that, we're all Alabama people.
I'm Ann Macher. I'm actually CEO of Med Shop because I was born in Tuscaloosa. I graduated from the University of Alabama. In 2012, I took over DC Scientific Pest Control, which is our family business. I ran that for almost 9 years. We had a branch in Tuscaloosa, which was our corporate, and then we had a Winfield branch and a Birmingham branch. The value at that point was, a couple million. And over the full 8 years of being the president of DC Scientific Pest Control and running it every day, business in that 8 years tripled in size. Well, cannabis for me, again, I would have been on the far right side saying no until I got breast cancer and started researching, how do you help people with cancer? Because everything I kept reading was people that go through chemotherapy can't eat, get sick, and in other states where they have medical cannabis, they're using it and having incredible results. And I was like, Alabama needs to get aboard with this. Well, MedShop is a dispensary, a medical cannabis dispensary. And in the past, it has been a pharmacy. I grew up with Joe Shirley, like he was my next door neighbor. Known him my entire life, or his entire life. And he's a great business person. He's a great person. I've always wanted to work with Joe. I've always admired how he handles himself.
If you could pause just a second. She's already said my name a couple of times. I paid her to say all that, but I'm the COO, obviously, of MedShop Dispensary. And after a 26-year career at UPS, I opened my first pharmacy in 2013 in Alabaster, and that led to starting up 5 different pharmacies, 2 medical clinics, and a med spa that's in Tuscaloosa now. And I know that all of us in this room only have one goal. It's you guys' job to pick the best teams to represent the dispensaries in Alabama, and it's my job to make sure that at the end of this, hopefully on Friday, that MedShop Dispensary is one of the names that you choose in that group. I couldn't help but notice that in the first couple of rounds that every dispensary winner, you can go ahead and start that back if you want to, every dispensary winner had a pharmacy background. And I think that's a brilliant move, because what you're looking for is the structure, the control, and the regulatory compliance of a pharmacy. It fits what a dispensary does. The reason I was elected COO of MedShop Dispensary is because I've operated these 5 successful pharmacies. But keep in mind, filling prescriptions and dispensing medications is just a tiny part of what a dispensary or a pharmacy does in Alabama. We've got the full capabilities from startup to execution, and we've done it time and time again, 5 times in this case. The video that you see is the operation of 2 of the pharmacies that are currently still running in Alabama, and we service patients in 44 states. We're fully accredited. In this particular location, Vital Care down in Dothan, we compound medications for some of the most complex patients in the community. It's all sterile compounding infusions. And over the last 10 years, we've dispensed thousands of medications under the directions of our pharmacists, and we've had 0 issues with the DEA or with the state. And I'm not going to say that handling a single substance, in this case cannabis, is easier, but we have handled hundreds of controlled substances, and we'll do this in the same way that we did that and have no issues with it from a compliance standpoint. And moving forward, this video is almost over, but again, it's just a couple of locations that we have. Ian Stewart is going to take over and tell you a little bit about the dispensaries himself. Thank you.
Wonderful. If you could please pause. Thank you very much. Thank you all very much for your time. My name is Ian Stewart. I'm here with my clients, MedShop Dispensary. I am hired here to guide them through the process. I've been through this process countless times in multiple states, primarily highly competitive markets in the Southeast, Midwest, and the East Coast. My firm has been highly successful in licensing in these competitive markets, and so having gone through this process before, MedShop hired me to walk them through the process in efforts to be awarded. In what you see here, this is MedShop's facility that we have, and it's important to note that this facility here is indicative of how we present and how we operate our facilities in Illinois. So the floor plan and everything you see here.
Sir, can you speak to the microphone, please?
Yes. Yeah,
Thank you.
sorry about that. So what you see here is a MedShop dispensary, the facility, and in general, that's exactly how the same flow works for our facilities in Illinois, of which you're about to see. If you could please continue the slide. So these are the 4 facilities we currently have operational in Illinois. We're bringing on another 6. So as you see here, there is a patient walkthrough. So that first room, similar to here, is secure from the point of sale room, right, for purposes of security. So they go here, now our patient's waiting in line. They go up to the point of sale system. In this case, this patient has put an online order that's ready for pickup. They show up, they get a double check of ID to make sure it's the proper order. The order is then fulfilled in the back through the inventory secure vault. You'll see the DEA cage on the left there, as well as all the inventory control management. This is all secure area, all secure vault. You'll notice here in this slide as we walk through that there's a tremendous amount of SKUs in this case. In the case of Alabama, the SKU sets will be more limited by nature, which will make things, you know, based on what it is we can handle here, what we handle there. This is all the secure video surveillance, data storage, et cetera, in this secure room. Next, you'll be hearing from MedShop's CEO, Ann Major. Thank you all very much.
Carl Jameson has been my personal accountant and our DC Scientific accountant for many years. So, of course, it was just a no-brainer to bring Carl and have him to handle the books for MedShop.
Yeah, I'm Carl Jameson, CPA with Jameson Money Farmer, PC, a 123-year-old accounting firm in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I've been practicing accounting for over 42 years in Tuscaloosa and currently serve as the CFO of MedShop Dispensary, LLC. Jameson Money Farmer will provide federal and Alabama tax compliance services to MedShop Dispensary, LLC, as well as bookkeeping oversight and providing information to the LLC's independent auditors each year.
Having Dr. Lawley on MedShop's dispensaries team was very important to me for patient advocacy and just her knowledge, being a doctor, to give us guidance and support.
I'm Virginia Lawley. I am an ophthalmologist at Callahan Eye Hospital at UAB. I am from Shreveport, Louisiana. Went to University of North Carolina, Chapel. I went back to Louisiana to Tulane for medical school, and then came to Alabama in 1994 to do my ophthalmology residency at Callahan. I've been practicing ophthalmology here in Birmingham ever since. I'm a faculty member of the Department of Ophthalmology, and where I, teach residents the finer points of cataract surgery and see my own patients. I've been aware of the use of cannabis in the treatment of glaucoma for some time. Although that's not a treatment option available to us in Alabama, it's very good data showing that cannabis does lower the intraocular pressure in patients with severe glaucoma who have already lost a great deal of their sight. However, as an ophthalmologist, most of my patients are over 60. Many of them have very significant disease burden, chronic illness, advanced cancer, patients with conditions that cause chronic pain. And for those people, cannabis would be life-changing. When you are in severe pain, you can't think about anything else. You can't enjoy being with your family. You can't enjoy the way your food tastes. You can't enjoy anything because all you can think about is your pain. Patients who are able to use medical cannabis to control their pain can enjoy some tiny bit of improvement in their quality of life. And for many patients, it's the difference between being able to communicate effectively, potentially even work, raise their children. There's so many things. It's just hard to imagine if you're fortunate enough never to have experienced that kind of terrible pain, that it really is just completely psychologically and emotionally debilitating.
Joe Sokoloff is Dr. Lawley's husband. He has been in the business world for many years. He is just so business savvy. Just wanted him to be a part of the team.
I graduated from the University of Illinois with an economics degree. Spent about 5 years on Wall Street doing a whole variety of high yield and private lending, followed by business school. Ended up in North Carolina at Duke University. Spent a couple of years there and ended up taking a job with McKinsey & Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina, where I spent a few years helping organizations really answer pretty broad strategic questions across a whole variety of industries. Ended up meeting my wife at a wedding in 2001. She lived in Alabama, and when we got engaged, I moved down to Birmingham, Alabama, and we got married in 2001. I ended up joining a bus manufacturing company as their chief operating officer. $400 million company based in Anniston, Alabama. Did that for a number of years, and then ended up joining a company called Partners in Performance, which is a spin-off of McKinsey & Company, a management consulting firm, really focused on, kind of picking up after the strategy piece and really focused on execution. How do you deliver the value when you have a strategy, but maybe don't have all the systems and capabilities to execute the way you'd like? One of the owners in MedShop, Ann Major, reached out to myself and my wife. We know her socially. And she had really put together the team that was going to be MedShop. And we're sort of compelled by the vision that she had. And we were like, look, if we can help, we like the team you've built. So, we're in. And my role here is really, where possible, to sort of be a thought partner and where I can really help make sure we're making the right value decisions and sort of navigating some of the operational, regulatory, execution challenges that come with really doing anything new. We have the expertise. We have the people who've run these kinds of assets, the dispensaries, the pharmacies. We have the facilities. We have the capital. So this was never for me a question of do we have the basic infrastructure to execute? That part was done, which is why I felt very comfortable. The part where I think I can add value is, okay, you have all these pieces. How do you make sure you're every day prioritizing and focusing on the things that really matter for value creation and really a customer-centric delivery of value and products and services? You have all the systems in place, all the infrastructure. Now it's just execution and decision-making around those things. And that's where I think I add value.
We formed a team, picked outstanding leaders, outstanding business people, an outstanding doctor, hired one of the best medical cannabis consultants in the country. I personally feel like we are the team that's going to be more of a patient advocate team. MedShop has the personnel, the experience, the consultants, the finances to, once awarded a license from the state, to immediately start the process of getting our dispensaries ready. And I personally feel like with our experience and the planning we have put together, that we would be the first dispensary open.
Members of the commission, I'm Virginia Lally. You saw me on the video, you heard my comments about medical cannabis and its benefits, but I just wanted to take a moment to address you personally. I do want to thank you for your time, but I also want to emphasize my confidence in this team. I believe that MedShop could run a first-rate dispensary. Our team is confident that when you've had a chance to review our application and our presentation today, you'll agree and that you'll vote to award us a license on Friday. Thank you.
That's our conclusion.
Thank you, Joe. One question I've got, I think, Ian, you mentioned a while ago before we opened up for a lot of other ones, it popped in my mind a while ago. It doesn't affect your proposed dispensary, but there were two dispensaries just a few, I don't know, couples, how many time ago? We had just previously two back-to-back, and they were proposing dispensaries probably a quarter of a mile, if that far from each other. Different groups, but that close. And my question was, how you mentioned being competitive. What kind of pricing wars do you get into, since you've seen it in other states? And right. How competitive is it? And what happens in that scenario when you have dispensaries located that close together, and invariably one of them is probably going to be going out?
Well, it's a great question. And so to answer, respective to the competition, specific to proximity, in a state such as Alabama, with a limited set of licenses, whether it's 27, 37, 60, wherever the number ends up, if you're still within a threshold based on overall demand, based on total population, you're still going to have those dispensaries produce and make and create real profit. The issue you run into when it comes to proximities, specific to places like Washington or Oregon or California, or even in Montana, frankly, where I am based, is that there's such a saturation of actual licenses as a whole that it then would create that type of conflict. But in a market such as this, let's say, for example, dispensary A operates on this block, and 4 blocks away is dispensary B. With this type of system and this type of limited license design, both operations are going to exist, and they're going to most likely succeed so long as they're practicing, so long as they're operating under best business practices, as long as they're compliant, as long as they're making sure that their customers are getting the best product possible. And ultimately, the one that'll win out, or the one that may gain additional revenue, is going to be offering the patients and the customers the best experience that they possibly can get.
That makes sense. In this situation, it was a very small town in Alabama, and I thought, well, one of these dispensaries is probably not going to make it because the demand just won't be there. Yes. In that location. In a big city, it might be different. But what I saw, it just kind of struck me as odd that they were both proposing in the same location, almost beside each other.
Understood.
So anyway, I appreciate the explanation there.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else got any questions? Any other commission members? I know Dr. Blakemore, you got a question.
Yes, sir. We're going to get out of here, though. MedShop dispensary. Can you guys give me a breakdown of how many pharmacies y'all got, like licensed pharmacies in the state of Alabama?
Pharmacists or
pharmacies?
Pharmacies, there is.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Right now, there are 3 that are operating. Now, they are not under the MedShop dispensary. I'm just one of the shareholders inside of MedShop dispensary. MedShop pharmacies, we have 3 locations. Right now, there's Care Direct Pharmacy in Alabaster. There is Total Pain Solutions up in Fultondale, and then I've got Vital Care down in Dothan. And that's just been due to some consolidation. Locations not doing well, kind of like what you mentioned, too close to to a big chain store or something like that, but we've kind of concentrated just on the specialty markets. And I don't mean specialty as in our world, but just concentrating on certain disease states, that type of thing.
Because I wanted to make sure I understood. Is Med Shop Pharmacy a franchise?
No, and it actually does not exist any longer as a name brand. It's just really a holding company now.
Gotcha. And then, so Med Shop dispensaries, what we're doing today, that is a multi-state operator in different states?
No, you're welcome to answer that, but go ahead.
It's specific. So Med Shop dispensary, so the way it worked, in order to ensure that the acumen is there specific to cannabis retail or cannabis dispensing, based on Joe's experience running the pharmacies, we found it important for this project to bring on a existing operator that's executed in the space specific to cannabis. So Med Shop dispensary, to answer your question, is solely focused to Alabama, whereas our operating partner has operations in existence running and operating in Illinois.
And she's a 10% owner, but the expertise in the cannabis world, we felt like we needed it because we just know pharmacy. Everybody in Alabama has to learn dispensary, so we brought in the partners that have already done it multiple times to be able to have that back end and have our backs as we build these.
So you mentioned your career at UPS. What did you do at UPS?
I did everything at UPS. Fortunately or unfortunately, I started off as a porter. I cleaned the floors. I did that for a while. I was a loader, supervising loading, and then when I finished up at University of Alabama, I became tech support, so I've got a technical background. Went into engineering, drove for a little while. I wasn't very good at it, so they moved me out of that pretty quick and put me in supervision, and then I went into sales. And crazy enough, sales is what led me to pharmacy. I was, not that you guys care about my story, but I was exposed to a lot of different industries, and my wife's a nurse practitioner, and most of my friends are physicians or pharmacists, and I fell into that world and started selling pharmaceuticals, and it rolled into pharmacy ownership.
I'm always interested in my guys that worked at UPS, because I worked at UPS for 2 years.
Did you? In Birmingham?
School.
Or here?
I was in the Chattanooga area.
Okay.
And I was a loader.
Yep.
Part-time loader.
In the mornings?
In the morning.
Yep, that was me.
And then I became a part-time supervisor.
That was me. Same thing.
Go.
That's pretty cool.
So I just wanted to know, how did that impact your overall business acumen?
Well, everybody else in the room might not know it, but you know exactly what it did with my business acumen and my work ethic. Dude, it was military. Sorry, y'all. It was military back then. I mean, you did what you were supposed to do. You showed up on time, and I think the motto was honest day's work for honest day pay. And, that really turned into a nice career, and it gave me the background. Now, although I was scared to leave UPS after 26 years, the pharmacy was doing so well. That's really where my heart was. I left UPS to do that, and over the past 10 years, I feel like I've became really good at it, especially startups and that type of thing. Now, I leave the expertise to the pharmacists that work with us or work for us, and, that's what we're going to do in this. We're going to plug them in where they need it. We're going to plug Sokoloff in where he's needed, and Carl Jameson where he's needed. And my deal is you put the right people on the bus. Somebody chose each and every one of you guys because you're the right person for that seat on the bus, and you take care of what you take care of, and then we'll manage the operation as a whole. And that's just been my world, and it came from UPS.
Gotcha. Who's going to do your day-to-day operations of the dispensaries?
Day-to-day operations, and I'll let Ian answer some of this, but overall compliance piece, Dr. Alyssa Pate, who is a pharmacist that works with me now, and she's actually my partner in Dothan Vital Care, she will handle the more intricate operations of the rules and regulations, making sure everyone's credentialed properly. We aim to put at least a certified tech has run in one of the businesses. I don't know if cost effectively we can put a pharmacist in every business, but those certified techs will report directly to her. She'll report to me and Ann, and we'll kind of break it down that way. And then the other people will, some of it will be pulled from current organizations, and some of it will rely on the community and hopefully put some jobs out there for people.
With your financing, is it debt or is it going to be all cash?
It's all cash.
Gotcha. How would you prevent diversion of medical cannabis?
First of all, hopefully the security that we set up in place, and by background checking everyone and making sure we're getting, again, the right people on the bus, that we won't have that. But in the case that we do, to prevent it, probably you heard it 17 times today, great security systems, great cameras. We'll do inventory every night. Everything's barcoded. In the event that we do have some diversion, immediately report it to our director of security, be reported to the authorities, get them involved to do the research to see what happened. Luckily, in all my years of pharmacy, we haven't had to deal with that, but I realize we're dealing with a product that people might want to grab. But, I mean, they've done a real good job of not doing flower and not doing smokable, and it's not as attractive to the crowd that might try to divert some. I hope that answered your question, okay?
Yeah, did you guys talk about your software that you're going to utilize?
I'll let Ian handle that one.
Absolutely. So, and just to add to Joe's point as well, I mean, that's what it comes down to is on the software, the seed-to-sale tracking system, the ability to kind of run everything and cross-reference it based on the manifest. In our case, for our point-of-sale system, now currently with our operations in Illinois, we utilize Dutchie as a POS system, which then communicates with Carrot. In this case, Carrot is the on-site interface, which then communicates directly with either in the case of Illinois at the moment, they're under BioTrack, but it's actually moving to Metric, which is obviously going to be used here in Alabama.
Now, who's going to be your bank?
The bank is Central State Bank, same bank we've been using for purposes of this project, maintaining our operating accounts.
Alabama-based.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Blakemore. Anybody else got a question? Yes, Ms. Skelton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon. Thank y'all for being here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Talk about your locations for a few minutes, please. The Northport, Montgomery, and Birmingham, do you currently lease that, or do you have an agreement to lease those 3 locations?
Yes, ma'am. All site control is current, meaning we are in full control and have the leases under contract.
Okay. And these numbers may have changed, so I want to give you an opportunity to address it. Yeah. On the Northport location, you have days to commence operations 413. Is that still accurate?
The Northport location is the one that has the longest lead time for us. Mm-hmm. The other 2 are whole lease deals, whereas the Northport deal is it's under site control, but that's actually a build to suit to lease deal, therefore the lead time being the longest. The other 2 will commence and operate significantly less lead time.
263 days?
Yes, I mean, that was conservative. We you know, in the way I go about doing these deals when I, you know, provide consulting services is I try to present what's conservative, right? Mm-hmm. So we under-promise, you know, and over-deliver.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Skelton. Anyone else have a question? Any of our folks on the line? Speak now, or we will be gone here shortly.
Quick question.
Yes, ma'am, Ms. Hatchett.
Any regulatory or compliance issues in Illinois or any other states that you're currently associate or co-owner is operating in?
So to answer that question, what I will say is this, is the operations that we have in Illinois, we are still one of the last remaining privately owned enterprises in the state. We were initially awarded about 7+ years ago, one of 22 vertical licenses in the state with 12 million people. We are, and pride ourselves in compliance, right? We don't have product that's produced within our vertical facility. In this case, in Illinois, we're vertical, not just a retail operation. we've never had a recall of our produced products, which then also essentially waterfalls down into how we operate our dispensaries in the same fashion. So for us personally, as an enterprise, no, we've never had that issue.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you, Joe. Appreciate y'all got an impressive team that came today, and thank y'all for sharing with us, and all of you coming and giving your thoughts and your passion for what you want to do for the commission. I think it's very valuable for us to hear what you're thinking. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you all very much.
Great
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Y'all have a nice night.
You too. Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for being willing to go a little earlier. We're still waiting for one more, so I'm going to put one last call out for CS Alabama Investments. Anthony Sucra, is he available? CS Alabama Investments. If not, I'm going to ask Justin Aday to go ahead and run over make mention of the last, I guess, the few applicants that chose not to make a presentation. So, Justin, do you want to address those?
Yes, sir. You have applicant number 1610, Green Wellness LLC. You have their complete application, their applicant summary. They were sent a pass-fail show cause notice, and they did respond, and that response is included in your materials. Next, we have applicant number 1645, Kush Medicinal LLC. You have their complete application and applicant summary report. There were no pass-fail items noted in their application. Next is applicant number 1661, All Green Alabama Medical LLC. You have their complete application and applicant summary report. There were no pass-fail items noted in their application. And then finally, applicant number 1701, CS Alabama Investments. You have their complete application and applicant summary report, and there were no pass-fail items noted in their application. And that concludes the dispensaries.
Thank you, Justin. It's been a long day, I know. Anyone else have a question or comment before we adjourn? Anything, Taylor?
Is all of this group going to be back on Friday?
Be here virtually on Friday.
Taylor, anybody else got any questions before we adjourn? I'm going to ask for a motion in a minute. Yes, remember, all of you folks that are still online with us, Friday at 1 o'clock, we will convene, and that will be the day that we will take up the 5 categories that we have taken up thus far with all the presentations made and not made. So, you got anything else to talk about, Justin, Daniel? Mr. John, anything to mention before we adjourn?
We're good.
Brittany? Thank y'all for all the legwork y'all provided for us up to now. We couldn't have got it done without y'all burning the midnight oil. Y'all have done tremendous work for us. But if nothing else, remember 1 o'clock this coming Friday. And then next week we'll do it all over again. I do need a motion to adjourn. Got a motion from Dr. Jensen, a second from Ms. Hatchett. Any discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say aye. We are adjourned at 3:44.
Justin.